Stephen Pressfield wrote in The War of Art, "We don't tell ourselves, I am never going to write my symphony. Instead, we say, I am going to write my symphony. I'm just going to write it tomorrow." Hi, it's Mariana. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about how you can make your life more productive and satisfying. I give you the tips and tools you need to reach your goals and reach them faster. Today I have 10 tips for you that will help you to focus on your goals and reduce the time you need to spend on tasks that don't necessarily contribute to those goals but still need to be done. Let's get straight into it. Tip number 1. Schedule your week. I am a big believer in scheduling things. There are many different ways how you can schedule your week, and I found out that different ways worked for me in different stages of my life. However, I am still coming back to Stephen Covey's way of planning, which he outlined in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, where he talked about how when planning you need to take into consideration your roles. So he identified the roles, the most important roles he plays in his life. So for me it would be a mother, wife, content creator, athlete, and I as an individual. What Stephen Covey then did was he would first plan 1 or 2 things or goals for each of the roles and schedule them into the coming week. Those small goals should fit within his yearly and lifelong goals and his values. So, and only after that he would then schedule all his other commitments, and they still, all the tasks that he is or he was writing into his calendar should fit or should be part of the quadrant 2 tasks. I talked about it in a separate video. I'm going to link it here as well as down below so you can check it out. But whatever method you use of scheduling your week, it doesn't so much matter. The important thing is that you find the time every week, you sit down, you reflect on the previous week, and you schedule the upcoming week. Tip number 2. First think first. This tip says do what is the most important thing for you first thing in the morning. Don't do things that have deadline, don't do things that are urgent, don't do things that other people tell you that you need to do. Work on your goal of the year. Let's say you want to write a book. It's very easy to say, I'm going to write when I'm in the mood, or I'm going to write when I have the time. No, do it first thing in the morning. Take at least 30 to 60 minutes to work on what is most important thing for you. And if you don't know what your yearly goal is, maybe try to start with the end in mind. Think about what you want to be remembered for. What do you want that your grandkids will remember you for? Because the reality is they will remember probably only 1 or 2 things about you, so what should it be? And if you don't figure it out, they might not remember you for anything. Tip number 3. Create fake deadlines. Coming back to now and today, we still have to work with deadlines. And if you haven't watched my 4 quadrants video, make sure you do, because I talk about how importance and urgency of tasks play into our roles. But if you have watched the video and you still feel like you're constantly putting out fires, try to use fake deadlines. There's a popular saying attributed to Abraham Lincoln about executing tasks where he supposedly said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I will use the first 4 sharpening my axe." We very often do the task in a time that is given to us, whether it's 1 hour or 1 week. Creating fake deadlines ensures that you're spending the time on the task that the task deserves, not more and not less. You also don't have this pressure behind you in case something goes wrong or some stuff that is outside of your control takes longer than it should. So if you, for example, think that your colleague will reply to you in a day and he replies in 3 days, you're still on track. Tip number 4, automate what you can. There are certain tasks that we repeat over and over again. It might be worth it to dedicate some time figuring out which tasks could be automated, then figuring out how you can automate them and setting it up. The type of tasks that you can automate depend largely on what you do. Some examples include using text expansion in your emails, automating your bills, or using email rules in your emails or in your inbox in order to keep up with the amount of emails you have. Tip number 5, create checklists. If some of the tasks that you are doing are more complex, you might want to use checklists. It's a very simple tool where you write down all the steps that you need to take in order to complete certain tasks. I use it, for example, for my planning and reviewing sessions. I have different lists for my weekly, monthly, quarterly and yearly sessions. It's then very easy to just click on the list and see all the questions I want to ask myself. I've done it also for editing videos, just to make sure that I don't miss any step, because that would cost me time and energy. Matt Diavella and Thomas Frank have each made a different video on that topic. I'm going to link it down below in case you would like to check it out. Tip number 6, batching. When I'm scheduling my time, I like to put similar tasks all together. When we are switching constantly from one task to another, we lose time because it takes some time to actually get into the flow of things. So if we put similar things all together, we are going to save time. One example might be you might want to not answer every email immediately when you receive it, but check your emails only at certain time of the day. How often you need to do it depends on the job you are doing. Some people may need to answer it throughout the day, so they may need to set up certain times they open the inbox. Throughout the day, some people may be able to answer it only once a day or even once a week. Cooking is another example, as well as thinking, planning and reading can be done in that way. Tip number 7. Complete recurring tasks at the same time each day or week. Eliminating decisions and creating habits is something that's greatly going to increase your productivity. You might say that Saturday afternoon you're going to spend cooking and preparing all the lunches for the upcoming week. Saturday morning belongs to cleaning, and every day at 6 o'clock in the afternoon you're going to exercise. Not only that creating this regular habit is going to increase the chance that you're actually going to do it, it's also going to eliminate the time and stress associated with thinking about the stuff that you need to still do. Tip number 8. Whatever takes 2 minutes, do it now. So when I'm scheduling my week, I do something that I call the brain dump. I write down everything that is in my head that I feel needs to be done. And then I either schedule it in my calendar, or if it takes less than 2 minutes, I do it immediately. And it often surprises me how much space certain tasks takes in my head, and I'm thinking about it for days. And it actually takes only 1 or 2 minutes to finish it. So during my weekly sessions, I have this sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes half an hour, where I attend to all the tasks that are taking 2 minutes or less. This can be something like renewing my library books, making an appointment with a doctor, or replying to someone. I know that some people are saying that it's a good idea to do the task, if you think of something and it takes you only 2 minutes or less, you should do it immediately. I don't really agree with it, because I think the cost of switching a task is too high when it comes to time. But maybe a solution might be to write it down somewhere where you know you will come back to it, and then batch all the tasks that take 2 minutes or less together and do it at the same time. Tip number 9. Daily stand-up. When I studied entrepreneurship, I took a class on Agile, which is a project management method used primarily for software development. I have not used Agile in practice, but I implemented for some time one tool from it, and I found it quite helpful. I think that it's especially good for people who are freelancers, have a side hustle, or have a really ambitious goal they would like to reach. So what I used was their daily stand-up meeting. So what they do is every day the whole team meets, they stand up, and every team member answers 3 questions. One is, what have you done since the last meeting? Second, what are you planning to do by the next meeting? And third is, what is getting in your way? We have already talked about the importance of put first thing first, or do what is the most important thing for you first thing in the morning. But if you're struggling with it, this daily stand-up meeting might help you. Just give it a try. I know it sounds really weird, but try it. In the morning, stand up. Imagine that you are talking to a mentor, someone you respect, someone who is an expert in your field, and answer those 3 questions. Articulating what you have done, what you're planning to do, and what obstacles you need to overcome might be exactly what you need to actually start working on your goal. Tip number 10. Do nothing for 2minutes.com. Sometimes in order to increase our productivity, we need to take a step back, calm ourselves down, manage our stress, and just turn off and do nothing. If going for a walk into nature seems like too much and you just can't do it right at this moment, try to use the website donothingfor2minutes.com. When you enter the website, a timer for 2 minutes starts, and you see a picture of sea and you hear the sound of waves. If you move your mouse or you do something on your keyboard, the timer automatically resets. You would be surprised how much you can clear your head in just 2 minutes when you're forced to do nothing, just breathe, watch the picture of sea, and listen to the sound of waves. And that's it. Those were my 10 tips to increase your productivity. I hope you found this video useful. If you are planning to try something, make sure you mention it down below. It actually increases your chance of following through and doing it. I wish you a productive and satisfying day. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.